Hello, Riley. Okay, so yeah, it feels like we just talked about this because we worked on it in class a little bit, but it all worked out really well. I mean, I very quickly identify the color scheme, so that's great. Um, of triple or triadic. The background is nice and busy, and then we can kind of focus up here, so that's a good thing. I think that the white makes sense. The only change that I would recommend for this is that it's kind of awkwardly placed because it's not quite centered. There's a bit more space on this side than that side, but it's also kind of centered this vertically. So I would recommend shrinking the scale a little bit so it's actually the width of your ellipse, and then it could also kind of sit under it. These could act as a group, and that way it won't feel awkward. It's either that, or in my opinion, you got to move it all the way over to the same distance that this one has here. You give it over here, so essentially you move it over, and then I would still say just nudge it up a little bit so it's a bit off center vertically. I trust that you have all the elements. It's kind of complicated visually, so it's hard to know if you have all the requirements. For sure you've got the rectangle in the back, right? You've got that. Got the clipping mask. You've got your two kinds of lines. I think you have a gradient. Is the red a gradient? I can't remember now. So double check you've got a gradient. And then in terms of all of those other little things like the levels of opacity changes, the blending modes, all that good stuff, just double check. And then remember that I also require 2 groups. So I'll need to see those in your PSD, which is due Wednesday, end of day, but if you need till Friday, that's okay. And then last bit of business for class is that I sent out an announcement today, but we will need to meet in person all together as a class on Monday. It wasn't originally on the calendar, but since I was sick, we need to push it to that day instead. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday.